Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Reach Out. I'm Director of the Reach, John Lincoln. I'm here today with Emma Plummer. Welcome, Emma.
Hi.
So let's jump right into it. The first question I want to ask you about is if you've had a favorite show that you've worked on here at the Reach.
At the high school level, I think my favorite show would have to be Charlotte's Web. I think that was the first high school show that I've done, and it was different for me because I was casted as Wilbur. And so I had to stay on stage for the entire show. I never went backstage at all. So I had to really make sure I knew exactly where I was.
Was that the biggest role that you'd had?
It was one of them. There was the Shakespeare play, Midsummer Night Dream. I had a really large leading role, and it didn't turn out so well for me.
Are you willing to talk about that? Because that's part. I know it was probably one of your toughest moments, but it was also like ultimately to me one of the great stories of redemption.
Yes.
So what happened to you during our school show?
So we were about to perform just for the school before we perform that night for the public, and I get out on stage. I'm so ready for this. I put all the work in, and then I get on stage and I forget all my lines, all of them. I run off the stage crying. It was just a mess.
And you were in middle school.
It was.
And it wasn't even the first scene, right? It was the second or third scene, maybe.
Yeah.
And so we ended up just putting the script in another kid's hand. It was Avi Larrabee, who was playing a smaller part, and I just handed her a script and said, "Go out." Well, the reason I love that story is because afterwards, I mean, obviously, you felt terrible and you felt defeated. But afterwards, I came to you and said, "So what do you want to do? Because we have a show tonight for the public. Do you want to say I'm not going to do this and we can figure something out, or do you want to come back?" And you said, "No, I'm coming. I'm going to be there."
Yeah.
And how did that show go for you after that?
It was amazing. I did the whole thing start to finish, and it was great.
And you were really great in that role too. I tell that story to kids sometimes. I don't necessarily say who it was, but that idea of just because you have a moment where something doesn't go right, it doesn't have to define your whole experience. And I think the next show you did after that was Charlotte's Web, where you cast in the lead, right?
Yeah.
It was the next year. And Charlotte's Web really was a cool experience too. And what I really love about this group is that there was no animosity, like happy middle school kids getting the lead, or it went the way everything we do goes, which was everyone pulled together and did the best show that they could. And I really enjoyed working on that one. Would you say that Wilbur was your favorite role that you've played?
I've been in so many different shows. I feel like I have favorites in all the different categories I guess I've been in growing up. Because I started out theater, my first ever show was Burt Dow, Deep Water Man.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of the flowers. I was a geranium. It's crazy for the fact that my first ever show was a professional show at the Opera House. But then in middle school, I feel like my favorite show that wasn't even a show, it was definitely The Yellow Boat. The Yellow Boat is probably one of my most memorable shows that we did.
And that was a show that we were in a class and we had a curriculum. You guys loved that play so much when we read it that we just tossed the regular curriculum and said, our curriculum, we're going to hit all the standards by just working on this play. And so you guys ended up performing that for the school. It was a staged reading. It wasn't a full production. It was, within school. It's one of the most emotional shows we've ever done.
Yeah, it is. It was a very emotional play, and you weren't sure about showing it to the middle school at first. But then you said, you know what, let's show it to them. And they were so into it as much as we were. Like, the emotions were all real, like all of us at the end, because the boy ended up dying of AIDS. We were on stage crying, but so was the audience. The audience was truly crying too.
Yeah, I remember we were talking. We had a group of middle school kids that were very boisterous, and we weren't sure how they would respond to a show that asks you to really take it seriously. And yeah, I've had some kids that are not really kids that come see all the shows or anything say, they remember that show, that it really did affect them. I mean, you guys did such a nice job of really taking it to an emotional place that allowed them to be comfortable being emotional with all of their peers around them. If there was a kid that was thinking they're interested in joining theater, what would you say to them if they were not sure if they should take that leap?
I would always say just go for it. We are such a huge family, is really what we are. We are very supportive of everybody. Even with me personally, I took a year off,
Mhm.
and so coming back, I wasn't sure how people were gonna like feel about me leaving and coming back, but everyone is just so supportive about everything. And so if you have any like fears, it's really not as big as you're making it out to be. So I say just definitely try it, because for me personally, theater has been a lifesaver, and I think that everyone should definitely be a part of theater.
That's great. About taking a break, I always say to people, we are here for you when you want to be here, and we're here for you when you're not able to be here, right? Like, you took off a whole year. We've had some people that didn't start till they were maybe juniors or seniors. We've had some people just can't do a show, or some people who are like, I really want to do the show, but I'm really busy. And I say, look, I can give you a small part, or you cannot do it at all, or you can help backstage or whatever. And so, yeah, that idea of family, it extends beyond just being in the States, right? So that whatever people need, wherever they are, even after they graduate, we're here for people. And you guys are so good to each other that way.
Yeah. I always told you, it was like every year, I always tell you that this is going to be my last show. This is going to be my last show. This is going to be my last show. But I always come back.
And you're not the only one that does that. I think it's such an emotional thing to do a show, right? And it's such a burst of energy, and it's not easy. Our expectations are high, and it can be really stressful, and your life doesn't stop because you're doing a play. I definitely appreciate the level of commitment it takes to do a show. So I never question when someone needs to take a step back. All right, so the last thing we have to do is these questions. They come from inside the actor studio. James Lipton, the host, used to ask the actors that came on this series of questions. So I ask a modified version. So the first question is, what is your favorite word?
My favorite word, it has to be, I make up a lot of words, or like I mix things together. Like I shove bees in random places. Like for example, 100 is bundred. A lot of like a word that I say a lot is like, oh my bejesus. I don't know why, but yeah, that has to be like my favorite word.
I like the Jesus.
Bejesus.
Hey, I'll take it. What's your least favorite word?
My least favorite word has to be inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
One, because I don't like how it's pronounced and I can barely pronounce it, but I feel like nothing is really inevitable, but at the same time, nothing is impossible.
Yeah,
So like everything is possible, but nothing is certain to happen.
that's a great answer. So what about the performing arts excites you?
Uh, it's the fact that I don't have to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
I say that, but at the same time, I feel like all the roles that I've been casted as sort of are myself. So I feel like that should be a challenge for you, John. Maybe my senior year, you cast me as something that I have to get out of my comfort zone in order to like make that role.
Good to know. In fairness, you've played a pig.
Yes, but at the same time, you chose me as Wilbur because me myself, I'm able to sit on that stage the
Yeah.
entire time.
You absolutely, you do have, yeah, I understand. You do have the Wilbur demeanor. So what is it about the performing arts that does not excite you or interest you?
Icebreakers. They're always so random, and I have to do like a random noise, or I have to act in a weird random way, or just say random facts about me. I just don't like them.
So I know you do everything you can. I've experienced this. You do everything you can to not do icebreakers. But if you ever have to do icebreakers, my advice to you then is to pretend you're somebody else who likes icebreakers, and then it's an acting role.
Right?
See, then it's not you, it's this other person who enjoys them.
I definitely have to try that.
What sound or noise do you love?
Um, it has to be probably when someone like either harmonizes together or someone really hits their note that they're trying to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what sound or noise do you hate?
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, especially because I am a member of band, but I hate the sound of clarinets.
You have to sit near them?
I do. I sit right behind them because I'm a tenor saxophone player, so I am right behind the clarinets, and I don't like the sound of them.
Uh, and if you could do any profession in the world with no restrictions, what would you want to do?
It's definitely what I'm pursuing right now. So I go to Hancock County Technical Center and doing health occupations. Right now, I'm debating on either to go and continue with doing nursing and becoming a nurse practitioner, or if I should go and become a physician of some sort. But
Mhm.
that's what I would do.
Are you looking at colleges already?
Yes, I have a college coach, and she's really helping me out.
Are you looking to go nearby, or are you looking to get away?
Definitely nearby if I can.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Emma, that's it. Thank you so much for doing this. I really enjoyed it, and it's nice talking to you. It's been a long summer of isolation,
Yeah, it has.
and I hope we get to do something. Like you said, it's your senior year, and I'm really hopeful that we're able to give you guys who are going to be seniors an experience that's really worthwhile and really exciting, and maybe something that you have that's not you.
Right.
All right. Thanks. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Thanks for watching. When you donate to the Reach Performing Arts Center, you are contributing to K-12 arts education, experiences, residencies, and performances. You're helping to support this wonderful facility, and you're helping bring arts to our community. If you'd like to donate, you can visit our website and hit the donate button on the top of the page, or you can send a check to the Reach Performing Arts Center at 249 North Deer Isle Road, Deer Isle, Maine 04627. Thanks, and I hope to see you at the Reach.